Fashion and politics, two concepts that apparently are not related to each other and do not belong to the same conversation. I'm Giulia Martorana, and today I'm here to tell you otherwise. In fact, fashion is actually used as a tool by many women in politics, and what people call political fashion has been around for a while now. But what is fashion? For centuries, fashion has always been part of our society. It can be defined as a form of imitation and so of social equalization, but paradoxically, in changing incessantly, it differentiates one time from another and one social stratum from another. It is one of the main tools that an individual can use to express themselves, and has acquired a highly relevant role in society in the last century. Truth is, fashion has always gone hand in hand with politics. In fact, ever since bloomers in the 1850s to flapper dresses in the 1920s, fashion has been used throughout history to make audacious political statements. Especially in the last few years, the lines between politics and fashion have become increasingly blurred, and no matter how different political views of individuals might be, fashion continues to be a medium that unites people. As I said, fashion has always been influenced by politics, and it has also always mirrored political and historical moments by creating different styles. In order to understand how we got to designers having entire lines created to encourage people to vote, like what happened during the last American election, and politicians choosing specific fashion items to send out messages, we have to briefly analyze the role that fashion had throughout history. Ever since the Middle Age, commoners were restricted from dressing above their station in order to maintain and monitor social hierarchy, using clothes as a way to do so. People went as far as choosing different types of dresses with materials, using specific colors and decorative elements just to showcase their class category to other people. This is why, over the years, fashion designers have started to be increasingly aware of political affairs who are occurring around them, and have begun creating entire collections who are not only a reflection of what the world is going through, but also a way of making women feel empowered and represented, no matter what is happening in the world. Examples of this include Christian Dior, who came out with his first collection in 1947, only 2 years after World War II. After a period of austerity, women chose to wear the clothes designed by Dior because they were more than simply just fashion items. They represented a liberation from all restrictive fashion they were forced to wear during the war. The collection was quickly labeled New Look, referring to the fact that it became the new uniform for women and their way to express themselves. In the decades after the war, designers started to realize they also had some political power, and that is why they decided to use their runways to convey political messages to the public. A clear example of this can be found in Marc Jacobs' collection for Perry Ellis in 1992, which features grungy colorful pieces following the collapse of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War. Just as designers realized the power they had to influence the masses, women in politics, especially those with great visibility, started being aware of the influence they also had over their following. Women in high political positions often inspire an entire generation with their style, and soon enough they realized they could also use their visibility to send out subliminal messages through the choice of dress and accessories. One cannot mention women in politics who had an impact on fashion without mentioning Jackie Kennedy. Icon of style for many, the First Lady launched many trends like menswear-inspired suits, maxi dresses, and oversized sunglasses. Of course, she is mainly remembered for what became a uniform during her years as a First Lady. All her suit with matching pillbox hat. Her aim was to revolutionize the idea of the First Lady style with an impeccable attention to details. Looking back at her choices of clothes, it is clear that she has always looked for a way to please both conservatives and liberals, with outfits like her inaugural strapless dress. There was clearly a compromise between the intention of pleasing both traditionalists and not. In order to pursue this, she was also always careful to choose US-made clothes instead of dresses who were made in Europe. Another example of First Lady who chose to communicate through her choice of clothing is Hillary Clinton. Her choice of wearing a pantsuit in the official 2004 White House portrait, instead of wearing a dress like all the previous First Ladies had done in their official portraits, is what changed her whole career. Clinton deliberately chose to wear a pantsuit as a tool to portray her ideals of gender equality and to prove that she did not see herself as just a wife of the president, but as a politician herself. Even though many women acclaimed Clinton's choice to wear an outfit that was typically associated with men, she also did receive a lot of critics for her fashion choices. Not only was she criticized by the American traditionalists, who saw her choice of attire as a way of hiding her feminine side and trying to trick people into perceiving her more like a man, but she was also criticized by the media for lacking the style that is traditionally expected from a First Lady. Nonetheless, pantsuit remained a staple in Clinton's wardrobe. Proof of this can be found in what she decided to wear at Trump's inauguration in 2016, after her presidential loss. Indeed, she chose to wear a white pantsuit, the color of suffragists, sending an evident message to her supporters. It is from here that current Vice President of the US, Kamala Harris, took her inspiration for her victory speech outfit, which consisted in a white suit and a pussy bow to call upon the suffragist movement once again. Even if Harris has only been in office for a little more than a year now, she has already proven to be one of the most influential women in politics of this decade. During her inauguration, she made history for being the first to take the oath of office wearing something different from a suit and tie. In fact, she went for a purple coat, choosing this color specifically because it represents the union of Democratic blue and Republican red. Along with Kamala Harris, another influential figure right now is New York Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, who is also echoing the choice of white suits to represent suffragist values. It is clear that Ocasio-Cortez's bold sense of styles amplifies her messages, from her red lipstick, which she states is a nod to her Puerto Rican roots, to her hoop earrings that she wears as a reminder of her upbringing in the Bronx. The New York representative wants to prove that fashion does play a big role in politics. But her messages are not always so subtle. In fact, in September 2021, she attended her first Met Gala, and for the occasion she chose to partner with designers Aurora James that created a white gown adorned with the words "Tax the Rich" in bright red, a construct so harsh it was impossible not to notice. Once again, Ocasio-Cortez used fashion as a tool to attack the upper class and stand with the underprivileged. Political women like Harris and Ocasio-Cortez prove the bond between fashion and politics is changing and is becoming stronger every day. Not only are they redefining the political system, they are proving that choosing a pantsuit over a pair of sneakers rather than a dress and heels only makes them more relatable to the public, especially the female side. Today more than ever, being in the political spotlight requires being careful with the choice of clothes, and sometimes it only takes a jacket to make it all go wrong. It is what happened in 2018 with Melania Trump, when she boarded a plane to visit undocumented children detained at the border with a jacket that read, "I really don't care, do you?" communicating that not only was she indifferent to what was happening at the borders, but she did not care about anything that was going on. Fashion always sends a message, no matter if positive or negative, and we should never underestimate the power of communication that it has. How people and politicians dress can communicate specific tastes in clothing, but it signifies much more meaning than that to those around them. It is a non-verbal form of communication to others about who they are and how they want the world to perceive them. This is why fashion is and always will be political.